Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. I got a lot I want to get through in this video. We're going to start with this one from John Deaton and Charles Payne here. Let's take a quick listen into this because this kind of sets us off into the main points of this video.
And what I think what's happening is that cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is one of the few times in history where the individual kind of front run the industry, if you will, and the hedge funds. And personally, I think the Gensler's attack on crypto is to allow the hedge funds and the Wall Streeters to come in, crash the market. They come in and then
by the way,
promote
they
it.
do that with the stock market.
And what
So then Charles at the end there was pretty much saying that they've been doing that for some time now, obviously just to get their buddies bigger slices of the pie. So John Deaton says, listen, anyone who has been paying attention knows that at some point the incumbent said, quote, "We can't kill it. It's here to stay," and decided to crush it so they can buy it up. Charles Payne and I, almost a year ago, which they had an agreement on. So it's going to go into kind of what we're going to be talking about in this video. Now we're seeing all of these exchanges go live and supporting custody, filing for spot Bitcoin ETFs after everything, right? After the SEC just sued Coinbase and Binance, all this stuff, right? You have BlackRock coming out, you have Deutsche Bank, and so much more. So it's like goes what we've been talking about on this channel. It's like the elites and the rich, you know, they tell you one thing and do something else. And this is kind of a perfect example of, you know, don't listen to what they say, do as they do. See what they're doing in the background, and that's what you do. So it says EDX crypto exchange goes live, offering Bitcoin and Ether trading backed by Schwab and Fidelity. And then we come over here, because I'm not going to read these articles. It says Deutsche Bank seeks crypto custody license approval in Germany. Deutsche Bank is looking to grow its digital asset and custody business. Remember, we talked a lot about custody on this channel as well. That's a big part of this industry. And Cowboy Crypto hits it on the head. It says more free passes, EDX, Schwab, Citadel Securities, Fidelity, other Wall Street firms start crypto exchange. And then right here, I think Preston hits it on the head right here. He goes, I'm sorry, but after watching BlackRock, Fidelity, Citadel, Schwab, and Deutsche Bank all apply for Bitcoin spot ETFs, spot exchanges, etc., only a few days after the SEC drops the troll on Binance and sues Coinbase, how can't you think this entire past year was a giant inside job coordinated between Wall Street parasites and government regulators so they could catch up? Literally hits it on the head. And let's go ahead and make sure we let's quote tweet this. We're going to quote tweet it with a lot of these eyes here. Oh my gosh. I think that went through. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, literally hits it on the head, man. It's tragic, and this is like something we've been talking about within the XRP community as well. Is like the whole ETHgate stuff, and you know, you got the Terra Lunas, the Do Kwons, you have FTX, all this stuff. Like we've been connecting dots, and we see that all of this it's coordinated. You know, it's whether it's, you know, their pipelines that have been exposed, so they're closing up shop, and they're, you know, throwing certain individuals under the bus, or whatever the case is. They have these, as we could say, these elites, these behind the scene wells and these disguised wells and these corrupt government officials, you know, they all have all these different plans to grab a bigger piece of the pie when it comes to the crypto space. And this is just another example. It's crazy. Continuing on here, it says just in 87 billion Wisdom Tree officially files for spot Bitcoin ETF. So here goes another one. And this is pertinent because this ties into what we've been uncovering in the community when it comes to William Hemmon's family members, like his son. It says this from Bitcoin Magazine, 87 billion Wisdom Tree officially files for spot Bitcoin ETF. Cowboy Crypto says Wisdom Tree's filed for spot Bitcoin ETF today. Wisdom Tree is invested in a company called C Currency that uses Ethereum, Stellar, Ripple, EOS, and other distributed ledgers with legacy systems for the tokenized issuance of trading securities and seamless on-chain and off-chain of movements of tokens. And he has these screenshots here. Continuing on, it says Wisdom Tree filed for spot Bitcoin ETF today has one investor named RRE Ventures. The co-founders are James and Jim Roberson, which is a father and son duo. James is on the board of Interstellar and ex-chairman of CEO of American Express and JP Morgan. His son Jim Roberson is on the board for Ripple with the eyes. Just more connections. And then right here, so this was a big thing that popped up in the community as well, that was tied into the whole William Hemon side of things as well. It says this is from Ethereum Foundation back in 2014. Ethereum takes over the world. Inaugural Silicon Valley meetup at the Plug and Play Tech Center this Tuesday. Man, that word is tough to say. I've said it like 7 times too. So right here it says Ethereum meetup at the Plug and Play Tech Center, February 2014. Even the Ethereum Foundation tweet about it. That's month before the ICO even started. Plug and Play is being in Ethereum of, it says, of course, him and son joined them in 2017. So he has a bunch of screenshots here that I recommend you go through. And then DAI hits it on the head right here. He goes, you got to be freaking kidding me. If Nate Himman, Bill Himman's son, was in the room when Joseph Lubin was explaining how he would help disguise the whales with the eyes and the alert. And then he keeps saying, what we've been saying on this channel as well, is like, it seems like all this stuff is leading back to China, the whole ETHgate. ETHgate is massive. So then there's some screenshots here. Obviously, we know about this audio clip of Joe Lubin talking about how to disguise, utilize multiple emails to disguise your purchases, buy in smaller increments so you can be a disguised well in a sense. And then he puts, Mr. Huber puts up another screenshot here of the Silicon Valley Ethereum meetup. I wanted to touch on this too, because this ties into, this whole narrative of, we covered yesterday talking about BlackRock had, came out saying that they're filing a spot Bitcoin ETF or getting ready to, and that's the domino that fell. And now you're going to start seeing all the rest of the dominoes fall. So meaning all these other, incumbents and platforms and companies are going to start following suit in regards to trying to get a spot Bitcoin ETF and in a sense to roll out their crypto custodying and all this stuff. So Jeremy Hogan says, what do you think the chances are that BlackRock Bitcoin ETF will be approved by the SEC? And it says, P.S. Never be honest with a girl who is way out of your league. She has ulterior motives, except for me. I got lucky. So let's listen into this.
And just how much it costs to buy people, like politicians.
Let me tell you, it's not through who's the president. It's who's controlling the wallet. So it's the,
and who's that?
The hedge funds, BlackRock, the banks. These guys want campaign financing. Yep, you can buy your candidates.
How so?
All of these financial institutions, they buy politics.
And just how much it costs.
So yeah, he's saying they buy. So it says, let me tell you, it's not through who the president is, it's who controlling the wallet of the president. And he said, who's that? And he says the hedge funds, BlackRock, and the banks, these guys run the world. What we've been talking about on this channel, DAI, other XRP community members that make content talk about it. It says campaign finances, yep, you can buy your candidates. And then that's how he's pretty much saying you manipulate the markets. And that's how you get what you want when it comes to rulemaking and policy. And you get that advantage. We're going to transition into some more stuff here. This is from Tony Hedworth from Thinking Crypto and John Deaton. And this is their little podcast interview that they had talking about the September 30th, the latest on Judge Torres's ruling. Let's listen into this.
Let's talk about the Ripple lawsuit. Everybody's in high anticipation of Judge Torres's ruling. It could happen today, could happen next week. What are your thoughts? Do you think we hear something very soon?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Mark Fagel, who was on my Crypto Law show with Jeremy Hogan, former SEC regional chief, a guy who knows the SEC in and out. He said two interesting things. One, he said he thought the SEC should win, but he thinks that the SEC may lose. I found that interesting. And he also said he expects the decision any day now. Now, I expected the decision before today. I said that I wouldn't be shocked if it took, through the summer, but I would be surprised if we were in June and it was still pending. And we're in June and it's still pending. So I'm also in the camp that we could get a decision today. We could get a decision next week. I've told XRP holders, I'm really, really confident that the worst case scenario is September. And I say worst case because some people think it's going to be, next year, right? Yeah. There's some people, well, if September 30th comes and she hasn't decided, she has to report herself to Congress and say, I have been waiting to rule on this massively important decision for 9 months and I'm still haven't done it. No, it's like a think about that list as like a public shaming list, right? You know, and you know, a judge doesn't want to go on that list because it looks like he or she's not doing their job and they're not, you know, being diligent. So I'm very confident that Judge Torres would never allow herself to go on that list.
So it's just a wait game to kind of see what happens. Obviously, we know we're coming toward the tail end of this thing, and we play videos on this channel of Brad Garland House and Stuart Alderati, Ripple's general counsel, and other legal minds within the community talking about, this is the end of the line, the end of the road, pretty much for Ripple and the XRP community when it comes to the litigation versus the SEC. And now you have other industry players just starting their litigation. So there's been a lot of speculation as to how's that going to affect the next bull cycle in the market going forward. Is Bitcoin and XRP going to be the only digital assets that really have free reign to flourish and do what they're set out to do due to regulatory clarity? Or is the findings coming out of the Ripple and SEC lawsuit going to further benefit to speed up litigation with these other platforms and exchanges and digital assets in their litigation with the SEC? Who knows? Are we going to get some sort of policy? Is Congress going to step up before 2025? Like, who knows what's going to happen? But all we know is we are literally counting the days, so you can say hours, minutes, whatever, for summary judgment ruling from Judge Torres and come to some resolution within this Ripple versus SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. Coming over here, this is interesting. It says IMF, this is from XRP Crypto Wolf. Shout out XRP Crypto Wolf. It says IMF report suggests XRP Ledger might be one of the best platforms for launching central bank digital currencies. And I forgot the name of the article, but I was reading something. It was a different one. Not you today, but there was another one that I was reading into. Some people were kind of like they didn't know how they felt about it. I was kind of reading up on a couple different tweets. There was people talking about in a couple different videos, little short clip videos, and had different thought processes and breakdowns of how they felt about it. Obviously, we've talked about a little bit about CBDCs on here, and as long as they're respecting our rights and the right to privacy, and we do what we want with our money, then cool. It can be very beneficial. But if they're taking the the approach of trying to over monitor and tell us what we can spend our money on and what time frame we have to spend our money, and they're trying to just control every aspect of our life with these central bank digital currencies, that's going to be tragic. And we can't let that happen. I'm going to end on this one with this is a little Coinbase from Meta Lawman. It says on balance, this is good news for Coinbase. The Third Circuit has ordered the SEC to update the court and whether it has decided to grant Coinbase petition for rulemaking in October. If the SEC says that it has not decided by then, the odds swing in favor of Coinbase. So just like waiting game to kind of see what happens. Obviously, you see litigations happen. It seems like things are going kind of fast. I haven't really been diving too deep into any of the Coinbase stuff, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me come over here to CoinGecko before my boys are starting to get ready to rile up. So we're sitting at 28,765 for Bitcoin. Obviously, we're seeing some past 7 days up 10% in Bitcoin. Ethereum sitting at 1,800. And then we have XRP sitting at just below 50 cents. Market cap sitting at 1.1 trillion. We're sitting at a 59. We're in the greed now. So obviously, with all these spot Bitcoin ETF rumors happening and, people are starting to open their eyes a little bit more. You have litigation coming to a resolution with SEC versus Ripple. I mean, we could be really turning that corner to start that exponential bull cycle that we've been talking about over these 4-year bull markets and stuff. So just a waiting game to kind of see what happened. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at CryptoIsKey1. Really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.